Hi, welcome to IELTSCast episode 40. In today's episode, I had a very interesting conversation with a Band 7 candidate from Belarus. He spent a lot of time focusing on his mental energy and how to increase it, and I think you're going to find the strategies that he shares interesting. Before we get to the episode, I'd like to encourage you to leave a 5-star review for this show on iTunes. 5 stars really helps put the show in front of more people, which means I have the opportunity to speak to more individuals that have taken the IELTS. So it should help to snowball a few very good IELTS-related stories for the show. Before we get to the episode, I would like to talk about this candidate's speaking, and I'll start with what is very strong about this candidate. Firstly, this candidate uses several idioms correctly. He uses walk through to talk about a trial run through the testing process, which I thought was quite impressive. And he also used the term early bird to describe someone who naturally likes to get up early. And he didn't force these phrases as he was using them, so I thought that was quite impressive. A couple of things I think the candidate could do to improve. Firstly, you'll notice that many of the sentences end with a rising intonation, which kind of makes them sound like they're a question. And a rising intonation once in a while is okay to stimulate interest in your listener, but when it happens too regularly, it starts to impede communication a little bit and it sounds unnatural. Secondly, the candidate uses a lot of tag questions to reinforce comprehension. So, for example, he'll make a point and then he'll say, yeah, I understand this is to stimulate some response from the listener, who is me in this case. But when this is overused, once again, it starts to sound a little bit unnatural. I think you'll notice it in the conversation as well. And thirdly, every sentence is punctuated with and this causes unnatural pausing in the speaking, which weakens the speaker's fluency and the overall degree of coherence. So just to be clear, the candidate can be understood at all times during the interview, but he would be more easily understood without so much pausing and without injecting this into each sentence. But aside from that, I think you will be very impressed with the range of vocabulary that the candidate uses and his ability to speak at length about topics. So he's very good at conjuring up ideas on the go and reinforcing his points. In the interview, several very good resources are shared, and I just want to state them up front here so you can punch them into your computer as you're listening. The first one is Lingualeo. That's LINGUALEO.com. The second one is the Elevate app. That's ELEVATE, and you can find that in the iTunes store or the Android store. The third resource is Engvid, ENGVID.com, and you want to look for Teacher Adam. And the fourth are the books written by Matt Clark, who is a very popular and somewhat controversial IELTS author. So you might be interested just to punch those into your computer as you're listening to this, and you can keep up with what the candidate is talking about. Okay, I hope you get something helpful out of this episode. Hello and welcome to IELTScast. Today I'm speaking with Slava, an IELTS candidate from Minsk in Belarus. Slava scored an overall band of 7 on his very first attempt on the IELTS. He scored 6.5 in listening, band 8 in reading, 6.5 in writing, and a band 7 in speaking. And he's been kind enough to share a bit of time with us. He wrote me this very interesting email that I'm going to read to you in a moment that compares the preparations he did for his IELTS to playing American football. And I have no idea what he means by that, so I'm looking very much forward to hearing what he has to say. Thank you for coming on the show, Slava.
You're welcome, Ryan.
Slava, let's start by talking about why you took the IELTS. What was the reason there?
Okay, so my main reason for taking the IELTS test was to be able to study in a master level abroad. So, and there is a mandatory to take an IELTS or TOEFL test. So that's why I took the IELTS. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, and why don't you share a few specifics? Where are you planning on studying?
I am an architect. So I graduated from university 4 years ago. So now I'm bachelor, and I want to study even further, to become more professional and that's why I'm going to study abroad. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so you took the IELTS mainly for your academic pursuits, your academic endeavors. Okay, Slava, I am going to read this email that I received from you. It says, "Hi Ryan, I'm Slava from Minsk. I took the IELTS exam just a few hours ago, so obviously the results will be available in 2 weeks. I thought you might be curious primarily because of two things. Number one, I have never attended even a single English lesson in my whole life. Number two, I've been playing American football for 6 years, and I used a lot of similar mental and physical techniques that I usually do in order to prepare myself for the game day." So Slava, the first thing you mentioned is that you never took an English lesson in your life, and yet you were able to come out of this with a band 7. Why don't you expand upon that? Why did you bring that up in the email?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to begin my answer with important emphasis that I studied French in my school, in high school, and also in the first 2 years in university.
Mm-hmm.
So, when my friends and when my classmates they studied French, I studied English mostly because I studied in how it calls like art school, so like painting and drawings, etc. So obviously French is more related to art and all those stuff. Yeah, and as I wrote you, and it's completely true. I'm 100% like a self-education person. So there is a lot of different English schools, different courses in Minsk and in Belarus. But I have had some nice experience in different fields to prepare for something big, like for a test. Just by myself, and I decided to take this challenge and to prepare for the IELTS using my own time and my own strength.
That's interesting. Yeah. Now, if we just compare your English level to your French level, what does that picture look like?
Actually, there is nothing that I can be proud of in French. I forgot almost all because I haven't had any practice since I finished studying French in my second year of university. And to be more precise, now it's my fourth year after my graduation. And it was like 3 years between my graduation and the second course, so it's 7 years. So I can understand some conversations, but I cannot produce even a single sentence in French. I can read, and my pronunciation is higher than average.
Yeah.
So and also I have a French-speaking girlfriend. I mean, she's learning French in university.
Okay.
So yeah, I understand something, but yeah, I can read very clearly, and I can speak if somebody tell me what to speak, I can pronounce it. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So let's get to the nuts and bolts of this episode. We're talking about the specific strategies that you used. You didn't take any course at all. Just walk us through what that looked like. You know, how long did it take you to get where you needed to be to score this mark in IELTS? What sort of strategies were you using? Just give us the whole picture there.
I guess I should start maybe 4 years behind. I've met a friend of mine, and she was abroad for a couple of years, and I had let's say almost absolutely no idea what the English is, but I tried to produce some sentences, and she said wow, for a guy who had no experience at all, you're nice. So and then I asked her for some books, like special ones, to improve, like some Cambridge books, advanced IELTS, intermediate, or after intermediate, I guess. But I haven't used those books, to be honest. But I started to watch more American football games, like in original language without translation. And I found that I could easily understood what's going on, and I could, let's say, to be like a sponge to gather some words and verbs very very fast and clearly. But my main problem was the lack of grammar, because obviously I didn't have any understanding of the grammar, and I started to study by myself in internet. I found very interesting website, and I could recommend it for Russian-speaking IELTS takers. Let's say it calls lingualeo.com.
Can you spell that out for us, please?
Lingua.
Okay,
Like,
so Lingua?
Yes, Leo, like lion. Leo.
Okay. .com.
Lingualeo.com. And the main, the basic design of this website is you're trying to feed a small lion, and you must take enough tests or exercises or read enough articles, for instance, to feed this small lion to get 100% every day.
I see. So I'm just looking at the site right now, and it's interesting because the first thing they ask you is, what is your native language? So, I mean, how does it teach you? It obviously must emphasize, or it must teach you using the person's native language. It isn't just a purely English website.
Actually, I'm not quite sure what this site provides at the moment.
Okay.
But when I started, I didn't make some serious and deep research on this website. I just went there, registered, and started to do some practices. And I started to focus more on the grammar section. Okay. And there is a quite nice grammar section at this website. I decided to do it step by step, from simple ones like present simple, present continuous, or past simple, and then moving forward to more complex structures. And it took about 6 to 9 months to improve my level. And also I try to watch as much as I can English TV shows, and especially football games. There is, let's use some advanced vocabulary. It's some kind of double-edged sword.
Okay.
Because from one hand, it's nice to get some simple vocabulary speaking, because, for instance, those two guys on a TV screen, they discuss, for instance, some play or situation.
Okay.
But in other hand, it's not so complex, and they tend to repeat the same information from game to game, from episode to episode.
Yeah.
And it's not so beneficial.
I see. But I guess one benefit is, though, if they are repeating it, they're probably using different terms to describe the same events, like somebody running down the field and catching the ball. I mean, they probably, I don't know if you found that was the case or not, but I mean, you were hearing different ways of describing the same thing.
Yeah, sure. You're absolutely right. And you could understand more and more,
okay.
But still it's just one piece of cake, because the situations that they are trying to describe is almost the same, like a holding or a penalty or a touchdown. So it was one of the, let's say, basic fundamentals that helped me. But there is also something else that I would like to explain to you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another thing is, especially with my speaking, I love to travel, and I've met some very nice people and one of them, and he really helped me with my speaking, is my French friend. His name is Matisse, and he's also an architect. And we spoke a lot, and especially before the test, like to improve my speaking, we walked through these IELTS situations, and he also took the IELTS 1 year ago, I guess. And he's not native speaker, but he's completely fluent. But he didn't take any preparation, and he also got 7.
Okay.
So, and one of my goals was to overscore him. You know,
okay.
It wasn't my main goal, but we were joking like.
So you found this motivated you to study harder.
From some angle, let's say, it wasn't my main goal, but still. So, and I spoke with him a lot, and also I was very lucky to meet some fluent English speakers, particularly American football coaches. And one of them, I would like to say a couple of words. I've met him in Riga, Latvia, and he is a weapon instructor from NATO, working in United States Embassy in Riga, Latvia. And he is also an American football coach, and he was very successful in United States. But now he works there, and he found a local football team. They are beginners, and now he is current head coach of this team. And we established some relationship between our team from Minsk and with this team from Riga.
So, but sorry, when you say our team, are you coaching in Minsk?
No, I'm not coaching.
Okay.
I'm playing.
Oh, I see.
Playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing. Yeah. So, but I am one of the captains.
Okay.
So yeah, and we went there, and I was like main interpreter, let's say.
Great.
And he told me very exciting thing. He said like, "Where did you study English?" And I said, "Nowhere." And he was slightly confused, and he said like, "Wow, you got no accent," and it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you do speak very well, Slava. I'm also shocked that you haven't taken any formal training. But I'm wondering, do you think that your studies in French in some way helped you with your studies in English?
To be honest, I thought about it, and I simply cannot say like yes or no.
Right.
But probably one of the keys to success in my particular case is I have some like I don't know, not a talent. Maybe you can call it whatever you want. Yeah. So I can easily understand language.
Okay.
And this is my plus. This is my advantage. So, and I used it to establish my English understanding, like even further.
Okay.
Probably like this, yeah.
Great. So now I didn't want to derail your story. So you were telling us about you had this tournament in Riga. So you were the main interpreter, and this gentleman told you that your speaking was very strong. Was there anything else in the experience that helped your language develop?
Actually, there was another American football coach, and he was in Minsk for 1 year, and he was our head coach with our team, and I was also like main interpreter. And I tried if you have a chance to speak with native English speaker, it's a bless, and you must like benefit from it, and you must speak as much as you can to to get more practice. So, and it's very nice to have this opportunity, and that's why I was I'm not trying to say annoying, but I explained to him like, I must speak as much as I can, and if you don't mind, just correct me every time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very important. And it was in your previous podcast as well. Like, if you speak with native speakers, don't be shy to ask them, please correct me every time when I speak something wrong.
Right, yeah.
And actually, like looking backward now, I am slightly shocked because I realized that I didn't have enough practice. So like I improved very fast in speaking, and I really have. I'm going to say it very honest. I have no idea why. I know this is not what you're looking to hear, like in this podcast, but sometimes if you want to do something and you're like dedicated to it, you just repeating something else, something like the English words. You repeat it again and again in your mind, and like once in a time, boom, you got like very obvious improving. And I would like to mention another very, very important iPhone application, which called Elevate.
Okay.
Like elevate,
Yep, raise,
go upward. Okay. Yeah. I guess it was 2014 App of the Year. Okay. On Apple Store, yeah, okay. And it helped me a lot.
So, what does it do?
It's not for English studying, actually. It's more for designed, I guess, it's more designed for native speakers to improve your, for instance, also listening, speaking, reading, but not in the context of the IELTS test, but also like there is some math exercises, and it's really helpful, and I strongly I strongly recommend to use it for not native speakers, because you must do it every day, and there is a lot of different examples and different like small tests, small practices, and actually I did it for a very long time, maybe for a year, and especially for 4 or 5 months. I had been doing every day, like practicing, and it's nice because you can do it, for instance, in public transport, or you don't have to like sit down and take a full hour to do so, and you can do it like on a run as well. So just write it down somewhere, and I will say it again.
I'm looking at the website right now. It looks interesting. It's anybody interested that to find it. It's Elevate app. That's ELEVATEAPP.com, and you can probably just search Elevate in the iTunes store or whatever the Android store is, and get it. Yeah. No, this does look very interesting. It actually won App of the Year from Apple, I guess. So it must be quite popular. I haven't heard of it before, though.
Yeah, they reached 10 millions of downloads recently. So it's very, very popular. And what I like about this app, they don't provide any translations.
Okay.
It's only for English-speaking users. But like if you want to improve your concentration or memory, and they designed not to learn a language, but to improve your mental skills. Yeah. And this is very, very, very nice. So, for instance, paraphrasing. Like you have a limited time, for instance, 30 seconds, and like they give you a word, and you must write down as much synonyms as you can, and it's very, very interesting.
It sounds good. It sounds pretty dynamic. It looks like there's a lot of different games in it. Now, Slava, I want to talk about this particular experience that you have with the IELTS. It was your first time. So, I mean, before we started the recording, you told me that you did several practice tests before you took the exam, and in the listening section, if we could talk about the listening section for a second, you were scoring 8 and 8.5. Then you get into this exam and you score 6.5. What went wrong?
I think it's it's not the best way to describe the situation by saying what went wrong. Actually, it was good until the final part of the listening, like when you have 10 answers and there is one big like lecture or, for instance, whatever, like the questions from 31 to 40. So before that, it was probably like 2 wrong answers, probably 2 or 3. And for this final part, I started to I focused and I started to waiting for a particular word, like to understand, like here it is my answer. And then I realized that I already missed 2 questions, and I tried to get back on track, but I don't know what I'm trying to emphasize, and why I wrote you on the email. The practice tests took place early morning, like 9 or 10 a.m. Yeah, so. And it was, I realize, I understand that this is completely my mistake, because when I did these practice tests before the big day, before the test day, I found that I wasn't like concentrated enough and focused enough in the beginning, but I like neglected it simply, and I paid a high price for 0.5 overall band, because I'm pretty sure that in the final 10 questions in listening section, I've made about 7 or 8 mistakes. I guess maybe 7. Yeah. So this cut down my my overall band. It's all about the last section.
I see.
And and what I'm trying to say, and my suggestions, my recommendation for the next IELTS test takers is, and it's going to be quite big explanation. So please prepare for it.
That's fine.
When you're preparing, I mean, for the IELTS test, try to simulate the test environment as much as you can. What I mean by that, if you know that test will take place early morning, try to spend every weekend, go up early morning, like in the same time, like you will on the test day, and do the test with the same, obviously with the same amount of time. But if you simulate the test environment for 10 times, then on a test day, you won't be like nervous or unfocused. So, and when I did it, I realized that I need some time to do some warm up. If you are familiar with sport, you know what it is. Warm up is like stretching before the game. You know, running, getting your body into the right temperature. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and same with the IELTS. So consider IELTS as a sport event, a match, a game, doesn't matter, and you must be in your best shape on a test day. And you gotta count for every small details. So, and I wasn't focused enough in the morning, and that's why I lost 0.5 overall. And then after the listening, it was writing, obviously, and then I warmed up enough, and it went very well. I had some small getting in time. So, like, instead of 60 minutes, sometimes it was like 61, 62 minutes. Yeah. But on a test day, I finished the reading section 1 minute before the end. So I checked my answers, and it was completely done 1 minute before.
Okay, great. But now let me just ask you though. You said that you need that warm up before you take the examination. Like what should you have done to warm up for that listening?
Yeah, I have a very clear answer to this question. I think I should just walk up and, for instance, take a small part of the listening test. In particular, last 10 questions. Just and walk through it and try to answer it like to turn on your mind. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
To get you on the track of listening. Because listening, a lot of people, they say this is the easiest part, and in some degree it is, but you can listen obviously just one time for the tape, and that's why you must be absolutely focused and be ready to write down a quick answer when you hear it. So I missed this part, and as I said, I paid a high price for it.
Well, but then you went on and you got a very good score in reading. So your feeling is that the reason for that mainly on that particular day was that you had the warm up period. Is that right? That you were nice and warmed up after the listening, and then you knocked it out of the park on the reading.
But this is the highest. How to say? This is the peak of my preparation.
Okay.
So the most important part is that I took about 15 practice tests.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
So and this is very, very important to do as a lot of tests as much as you can. So to achieve a level where you can do it almost automatically,
And so where were you getting these practice tests from?
Like IELTS 10, IELTS 8, IELTS 9, those books,
Okay.
So I took every test, and I tried to. I'm not just tried. I did it exactly as it goes on a test day. So I do not recommend to practice listening or writing or reading separately. Like, I have 1 hour. If you have just 1 hour, do so. But try to find 3 hours and do it step by step as it goes on the IELTS test day. So sit down, turn off every phones, turn off everything, and start with listening. Do the listening. Do not check your answers. Go to right after listening. Go to reading. Do the reading test. 1 hour, maybe 2 minutes break, as it goes on the IELTS test, because they must take your papers, explain next part, and start with writing. So spend about 2 hours 45 minutes to simulate the complete test. And it could be hard first time, but if you do it 10, 15 times, then you won't be nervous about, it's so exhausting, I will be tired in the end. Then it will be okay for you. As my American coach told me, practices is always harder than a game day. And as much harder you practice, then as much easier you will play on a football game,
Yeah. No, that's good advice.
So just try to. My main emphasis, and just try to simulate the test with every details. And timing of the test, I mean morning, afternoon, evening, is also very important, because if you are an early bird, then it's easier for you. If you are opposite, if you are more productive in evenings, then you must go to sleep every Friday, go to sleep early every Friday and every Saturday, to wake up in the morning in Saturday and Sunday, because everybody have a job to go, and you cannot spend every day to go up in the morning. Yeah, you must go to your job. So use weekends. Like forget about some hangouts with friends or parties for maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
Or just forget about it. Just understand your goals. If you need to get the IELTS, you will have a lot of parties, nice parties in the next few months. Okay, so you can like compensate it. But now decide what is most important for you. If it is IELTS, then spend those mornings on Saturday and on Sunday for preparation.
Right.
And
So
really go to sleep early, because what I do when I prepare for a regular American football game, I go to sleep early. Like I try to go to sleep early every week, all week long. I mean. So if you go to sleep like after 2 in the night every day, and then you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and be at the test center at, for instance, 8:30. Okay, you will be like a zombie, and you will have to drink a lot of coffee. But I do not recommend to drink coffee before the test, because there is more negative consequences than benefits.
So it sounds to me, and your advice, to be honest, is not completely new, because a lot of successful candidates describe the same thing. It's to find whatever it is that allows you to perform at your maximum.
Yes.
And so I appreciate, Slava, that you devoted a good 4 months to finding out what this was. I mean, for the next time that you take it, that you need that warm-up in the morning, that you need to make sure that you're getting up early every Saturday for a couple months beforehand, so that your body is acclimatized to that sort of pattern and can perform well on that day.
Yes, you're right. And it's also important to think about your body. So, and this is why I told you about sport,
Yeah.
So if you consider an IELTS test as a game, as a sport match, okay, you realize that every sport players, they pay a huge attention towards their bodies, and even if it requires a lot of like theoretical preparations. For instance, in American football, we discuss a lot of like our playbook, what kind of plays we will run on a game day, to analyze our opponents. But it's also it's vital to pay attention to your body conditions.
No, that's a very good point. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, with regards to your IELTS journey, where are you now? Are you going to take the exam again?
No, in the next 2 years, I will not, because for my educational purposes, it's more than enough.
Okay, great.
And this is another important point that I'd like to explain. You gotta understand what kind of IELTS band score level you need in order to succeed or to achieve whatever you want. Yeah.
Right.
For my personal purposes, I needed only 6.5 and not less than 5.5 in every sections.
Oh, okay.
It means like English level 6, I guess. You must understand what I mean by that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you are able to establish enough confidence, and on test day, personally, I didn't worry about like, oh, will I score or will I not, and some other exhausting stuff. I was absolutely confident. I know that I have made a huge preparation, and like during the whole course of my life, I understood that if you prepare enough and if you did a good job preparing for something, it will pay off.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I realized that I have like a depth in every section. So I don't have to worry, will I pass or will I not? So I only have to focus, just forget about everything, just spend these 3 hours or whatever, do your best, answer as much questions as you can, and it's going to be all right.
So Slava, let's talk about the reading section. You scored a band 8. Just walk us through the preparation that you went through for that.
Yeah, okay. First thing that I'd like to mention is it's different for every person to find the best strategy to score with reading section. Yeah. I would like to recommend, if you don't mind, some very nice examples of preparing materials. Okay.
Please.
Yeah, sure. So first person who really helped me out with the reading is a guy. His name is Adam, and he is from the website ingvid.com.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with this website.
Yes, and I'm sure many of the people listening are. But in case people aren't, it's engvid.com, and they have a very, very strong YouTube presence.
Yes, but I prefer to watch it directly on the website.
Okay.
So the name of this guy is Adam. I'm sure that you know who it is. You can find it on a list of teachers on the Ingvid website.
Right.
Adam. And he's also got his personal website, right2top.com, I guess.
And
that's
right to top.
Yes.
Right to talk.
To top.
Oh, so like RIGHTTOTOP?
Yeah, right, like right to top. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but not like right with a pencil. Right, RIGHT.
No, just WRITE.
Okay, so WRITETOTOP.com.
Yes, this is his personal website,
okay.
And what I found by looking for his, watching his tutorials, you gotta establish your own strategy and your own approach in case of reading. So, prefer to read the whole text and then move to the questions. Personally, I found that for me, it's better to quickly read the questions,
Yep.
Find some keywords, and it depends by the type of the questions, but try to structurize your test time that you will not have to read the same paragraph completely again. And also very important to if you read a paragraph, try to write down some most important words on the left side.
Yeah.
And then you will have an idea what this paragraph is about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also you must understand that the IELTS test is very, I call it logical. It means that it's in 99%, it's very obvious. So there will be no tricky words, or I don't know, if there is an answer for this question, there will be no, let's say, another answer to this question on the different part of the text.
Okay.
So just stay focused and try to spend about 15-17 minutes for the first text.
Right.
Try to spend about 20 minutes for the second text, and try to spend about 23 to 25 minutes for the last third text, because it's widely agreed that the third one is most harder. Yeah, this is the hardest test. Yeah.
Right.
But personally, I don't think that there is a big difference between these texts. And also, it is important that you IELTS and you took a lot of those tests with different topics. Okay, you will establish some confidence about understanding the idea. For instance, if it's about biology, or if it's about math, or about philosophy, or about I don't know, traveling.
Yeah.
So just read as much as you can, and try to find some patterns, some basic ideas, and then you will just read the text paragraph by paragraph, and it's going to be like automatically. You will just read the question, find the answer, try to use like different techniques like skim and scan. Not in every section, but in some sections, you will find a question about what is the overall idea of this text, or what the writer want to explain, or what the writer opinion is.
Yeah.
And if you simply skim the text for some keywords, you might miss some important sentences, for instance, even sentences. Yeah.
Right. I think you're referring more to the larger idea. Yeah.
You can think about the overall idea slightly different. And sometimes it is important because there will be similar answers, but with small differences. Okay.
Yeah.
So my approach is to scan the text, to read it, but to do it quickly. So, but you gotta understand like every sentence and almost every word, but do it quickly. So, and if you do not understand something, then just go back. Move back and read it again. But in the end, as I said, in my case, it works for some other people. As we already spoke about the overall strategy, try to find your own approach. Do not watch a tutorial, even if it is a good one, and do not blindly follow those advices if they are not fits you. Okay. So try to find your own approach. But as I said, you can only do so by doing as much tests as you can. And to sum up about writing, I would like to thank you for your writing tutorials. I wrote pretty nice essay because if I got it right, the is your task 1, yeah, plus task 2 twice. Yeah, for instance, if you score 6 on task 1 and 8 on task 2, it should be 6 plus 8 plus 8 and divide by 3.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it's. Firstly, that's behind closed doors. But the examiners that I've talked to say it is close to a 1/3 is weighted to task 1 and 2/3 is weighted to task 2. So yes, that calculation should be in the ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think I wrote pretty nice essay, and I would like to say thank you for your tutorials, and I strongly recommend for those who are listening us at the moment to watch your tutorials about writing, and especially about advanced words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
personally, I used, if you remember, one of those video tutorials. I personally, in my writing essay, I used words such as fortify, catalyze, precursor.
Right.
Do you remember?
But I'm glad though that you say that video helped you.
Yeah, it really helps. It helps. But what I'm going to say that do not think only about those 9 words.
Yeah.
If you do, for instance, I had a piece of paper in front of my computer, like placed on the wall, and I wrote down not only those words, but a lot of different words that you also used in your, or for instance, some sentences or constructions. Okay, for instance, I don't know. Some for me, I haven't heard about this. For instance, 2-3 words, and try not to only think about those 9 words which Adam gives you. I mean, Ryan. Sorry, Adam is a different guy. Ryan.
Yeah, that's okay. No problem.
Yeah. But there is also a lot of helpful stuff in your video tutorials. So, for instance, if you simply like, you tend to do so in order like, let's write something like that, like, and then blah 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 blah. Yeah. So in blah blah blah, there is a lot of helpful stuff. So do not ignore it, and it will help you. It will help you a lot as well. Yeah, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that, I appreciate that, and thank you for saying the nice words about my work. But yeah, the people that really take away from those sorts of videos, and not just mine, but other people, maybe perhaps this Adam, I know who you're talking about, but I've never really watched his videos. But the people that get the most out of that sort of material are the ones that are proactive, and the ones that are making notes of the new language that they're seeing, not just of the language though, how the language is used. How is it used properly? How could I use it effectively in my own sentence? So I think when people are proactive like that, like you were saying, you had that list of vocabulary on your wall that you were looking at regularly, that you were reminding yourself, regularly how to use these phrases. That's when people start to see results in their, well, not just the writing in all sections of their language, but writing in particular, because it just allows you to visualize how the language is used, or how that piece of the language is used.
Yeah, and you can use a lot of those sentences and words in speaking as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of it does cross over quite well.
Yeah, and also, I would like to strongly emphasize on it. Even if, like, a teacher provides you a nice example of advanced vocabulary, but if you really feel like, yeah, it's good, but I cannot produce it, or I don't like those particular example. Like, for instance, instead of this one, I feel more comfortable about a synonym and using another one, with the same meaning but different words. So do not try to. Try to avoid some uncomfortable situations. So if you have enough vocabulary and you only need small adjustments, like to bring some more advanced words, if you don't like a particular word and you do not understand it very clearly, just ignore it. There is a lot of different examples in English. So try to find the most, and it's not about writing, it's about the whole test. Try to find the most comfortable approach, solution, ideas that fits particularly you. Do not think that the good examples and ideas and strategies of other people will help you to score high on the IELTS test.
Actually, Slava, if I could just say something here, because I think you're making a very good point, and that is that there is no one silver bullet. There is no magic formula that's going to win everybody Band 7 or Band 8 on the IELTS. The examiners are flexible. They're looking at the language in a flexible way, because there is no one answer that they're looking for. I mean, you could deliver your argument in many different ways, and all of those ways could be equally effective. So I think that the whole idea that students are like, well, you got to tell me exactly what to write or how to write it on the examination so that I'll score Band 8. Well, there's nothing like that. I mean, you can't do that. It's impossible. It's what you have to worry about is strengthening your overall ability to communicate a message, and a message that is in the context of the particular question that you're given on the examination.
Sure. And also, if we moving on to the last section, which is speaking, there is also a lot of different strategies, and if there is a lot of examples, for instance, of essays or task one in writing. In speaking, I guess a lot of test takers, they feel uncomfortable, and mostly because they do not realize what will be on the test. And that's why you must also practice, and you must watch like YouTube videos of the structure of the test. And there were a lot of conversations about like what is the IELTS? Is this test? Is this the English test, or it's more about like some specific stuff? Yeah, I guess you know what I mean by that.
Right.
So like, it's not a fair test. Personally, I believe that IELTS is very fair. It's like it's the fairest test in the world, because as long as I was preparing, for the IELTS, I realized that every small piece of the test makes sense, and it really tests you with some small details like tenses, vocabulary, understanding, and even if you think that there is no sense, I'm pretty sure that there is a sense in every question, in every word on the IELTS test. And what I mean by that, for instance, in speaking, obviously a lot of students, they aware about Matt Clark book, the Chinese IELTS instructor.
Right,
Yeah. And I also read this book, and I do recommend to read it, but my personal opinion, it's only my opinion, that Matt Clark's approach, use the redundant language. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's, sorry about that, but this approach is over redundant. So if you speak with so many redundant structures, like, of course. Well, if I try to, I've never considered this question before, but if I try to do so, I guess I should start with, I spoke with but with some native speakers, and they do not speak like that. They use some linking phrases, some redundancy, but not too much as in this book. So, and that's why I like your approach more. And I also watched your tutorial about like speaking section and like for instance, the example of the 9 or 8.5 answer.
Right.
Yeah? Like about your trip to UAE. Yeah, I guess.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, and I think it's more beneficial approach to use redundancy, but not too much as it goes in the Matt Clark book. But still, if you want to understand how the IELTS exam, especially the speaking, works, I strongly recommend you to read this book, and you will understand what the test requires from you. And it's very important because it's not about only IELTS test. In many different situations in your life, you can be good at something, but you must understand, you must be aware of what they looking for, okay? So, for instance, if in speaking tests they look for grammar, they look for different structures, they look for fluency, and they look for coherence and cohesion,
Right.
So just give it to them. Do not be stubborn and think like, I disagree with this approach, I will speak like that. No, it's not about you. Just give them what they want. And it's so simple, but I guess some people they ignore it.
Yeah.
And as I said, they are stubborn, very stubborn.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so,
I don't get it either. My approach has always been do what is going to get you the mark that you want. It's one thing to go into the examination and not have an opinion. I mean, where you're trying to balance your argument between an agree and a disagree position. That's not the recipe to take on your IELTS. That's a difficult position to take. You take the easiest position you can so that your language comes out the strongest, and you'll score better that way. I don't get the whole mentality that people take where they want to use their exam to explore the language. This is not a time to explore. This is a time to demonstrate.
Yeah. Sure. So, and what I said about Matt Clark's book and over redundance, it's also in the end it's up to you to find the best way to pass through the speaking test, for instance. Yeah, and if you feel very comfortable with those redundant structures, probably then go and use it. But I found that probably using too much redundant words and structures will take off your actual time when you can let's say show off your English skills with complex and advanced vocabulary. What I mean by it. Okay, you must prepare. You must spend a lot of time if you're not good enough and if you want to improve. And try to see the stuff from different angles. What I mean by that is when you watch different videos, when you see different approaches, you are analyzing it, and eventually you will create your own. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's why you don't have to focus on the one tutorial and use it for your preparation. Try to it's same thing in your life. When you hear different people, when you hear different opinion, I guess in most cases, finally you will be wiser. So, and it's same for the IELTS. Use every preparation tool available. I would like to conclude by saying that it's not a law in life, but if you are dedicated enough to something, it's not only the IELTS. If you understand the importance of something and of the test in particular, and if you put enough efforts, as I said before, and if you studied enough and if you worked hard, it will pay off. It will pay off. So it's not always that everything in life is are fair. Sometimes you feel that I don't know, somebody cheat on you or something else. But in case of IELTS, yes, there is some let's say there is some room for unfair grades, or for instance, you think that you are good, you're better than 6, but you got 5.5. But still, in the end, just be confident, be sure that everything will be all right, and you gotta relax, and you gotta go to the test center with a very strong mindset that it's gonna be all right. There is nothing hard. I walked through it 10 times before. I know about the structure. I know about the questions.
Yeah.
Don't go to the test thinking that I will. Oh no, it's gonna be awful, and I don't know what to do. If you practiced before, then yes, you know what to do, and you will pass the test. Yeah.
That's
like this.
very good advice.
Yeah, like this.
Thank you very much, Slava. I think that's very insightful. And I know that everybody listening has appreciated all of the tips that you shared today. I want to thank you personally for coming on the show. I know a lot of people are going to walk away from this episode with new strategies that they're going to be able to put into place and be successful on their IELTS. I just want to thank you for your time today.
Sure. Thank you, Ryan. It was a really nice experience for me.